All right, let's get into it. Have you ever been stranded at an airport? You know the feeling, just watching that departure board light up with red letters, and you're just stuck. Well, today, we're unpacking one of those days, except it happened on a massive, nationwide scale. This is the story of how the entire American aviation system basically ground to a halt. And it all kicks off with this simple but pretty stark quote from Travel and Tour World. This wasn't just a handful of unlucky flights. We're talking about a complete system breakdown that just rippled out, affecting real people, with families to see, vacations to get to, all the way from coast to coast. This is the human side of a nation grounded.
So, just how bad was it, really? Well, let's start with the delays. Almost 4,000. Seriously, just think about that number for a second. That's nearly 4,000 planes, each one packed with people not going where they were supposed to go when they were supposed to go. The domino effect from a number this huge is just, well, it's almost impossible to wrap your head around.
And look, if a delay is a massive headache, a cancellation is a total nightmare, right? Over 400 flights were just gone, wiped right off the board. For thousands and thousands of travelers, their day wasn't just messed up, it was completely torpedoed, leaving them scrambling to figure out a plan B in a totally packed airport.
So, where did this whole nationwide mess even start? I mean, yeah, the pain was felt everywhere, but the data points to one clear epicenter, a ground zero for the day's travel chaos, Dallas/Fort Worth International Airport.
And this is where the story really gets focused. I mean, just look at these numbers. Compare Dallas-Fort Worth to other massive hubs, it's not even close. 454 delays, 77 cancellations. That is way more than double the delays of a place like Chicago O'Hare. This wasn't just a bad day for DFW, it was the beating heart of the entire national problem.
And this, right here, shows you a key weakness in the way we all fly. A crisis at a mega hub like Dallas doesn't just stay in Texas. Nope, it sends shockwaves across the entire system. Trouble in the heartland quickly turns into a headache in Los Angeles and San Francisco. So let's see how this all played out for the airlines themselves.
So, if DFW was the ground zero airport, then American Airlines was absolutely the ground zero airline. Just look at this chart. 914 delays. That's nearly 3 times as many as the next airline on the list. And it makes sense, right? Dallas is America's biggest hub, so the problems there just cascaded violently through their entire global network. But here's where it gets really interesting. A little twist. When you switch from looking at delays to looking at outright cancellations, a different airline jumps to the top spot, SkyWest. They're a major regional carrier, and this tells you something super important about the system's weak spots. See, a big airline like American will try to delay its huge planes and catch up later. But the regional network, those smaller planes that feed into the giant hubs, that's the first thing to break under pressure. They're forced to just start cutting flights completely, which severs connections to all those smaller cities and really shows you how fragile that whole system can be.
And this just shows you how the breakdown at the center sent cracks through the entire industry. It wasn't just an American Airlines problem. Not at all. You had legacy carriers like Delta, other regional guys like Envoy and PSA, and even the low-cost airlines like Spirit. All of them got caught up in the chaos. When a main gear in the machine shatters, the whole thing just grinds to a halt.
Okay, so we've seen the what, the where, and the who. But now we get to the most important question, why? What could possibly cause this level of system failure on one single day? Well, the source material points to a perfect storm of 2 key things happening at once.
And here they are. On one side, you had some nasty, severe weather moving right through the Dallas-Houston air corridor, one of the busiest and most critical flight paths in the entire country. And on the other side, a massive surge of travelers for the Easter holiday weekend. The system was already stretched to its absolute limit with no wiggle room. So when that bad weather hit that one critical spot, the whole network didn't just bend, it broke.
So this is the really crucial part for anyone watching. What can you actually do when you find yourself trapped in the middle of one of these travel meltdowns? Well, thankfully, the source material gives us some very clear, very practical advice. You should think of this as your modern travel survival kit. First things first, check your flight status constantly before you even think about leaving for the airport. Second, get in touch with your airline directly. Use their app, use social media, whatever's fastest. Third, if you absolutely have to go to the airport, get there way earlier than you normally would. Fourth, have all your documents ready to go, both on your phone and a paper copy just in case. And finally, keep an eye on the weather yourself. Honestly, being informed is your absolute best defense. And that really brings us to the final thought here. This wasn't some once-in-a-century blizzard or a huge technical failure. This was a thunderstorm and a holiday weekend. The fact that two totally predictable things could cause almost 4,000 delays and bring the nation's travel to its knees, well, it forces us to ask a really tough question. Just how fragile is this system that we all depend on?